Okay, so there's been reports that Jaron Ennis has sent an offer to Josh Kelly, and typical matchroom strong arming tactics. I believe they said to Josh Kelly, you've got 24 hours to accept this offer or get back to us, or we're moving on. Of course, apparently it was a bit of a lowball offer. Doesn't surprise me. And what Matchroom would do after this, they would say they sent the offer to Josh Kelly. He didn't want the fight, and Jaron Ennis is just the most feared man at 154. Right, that's what they would do. That would be the media spin. Right. Luckily, in this case, we've had Adam Booth come out and explain the situation like how I explained it, saying that this is a business deal. If you want it to happen, it can happen, but you have to pay the right price, and you have to give us time to look over things. You can't give us 24 hours and be like, leave it or take it or leave it, right? That's not how business works. That's how strong arming works. That's how bullying works. That's how blindsiding works. But of course, it's a shame because I don't think it's Jaron Ennis probably not doing this. It's his promoter, Eddie Hearn, their lawyers, management, these sorts of people that are doing these sorts of things. And ultimately, it just costs the fighters involved, which means that fights don't happen, and us as fans go for longer time periods between seeing our favourite fighters fight, and no one wants to do that. And these fighters, no doubt, they want to be active, but they want to get paid the right amount. Ultimately, I want to talk about in this video what would happen if these two were to fight. Now, of course, Josh Kelly's got a tricky style. Early on when he was breaking on as a prospect in his career, a young boxer with not much pro experience, he was super exciting. A super beautiful style of boxing to watch. Saucy, got flair, had a bit of, Swords de Vive, right? Would glide around the boxing ring and you couldn't touch him and he'd just embarrass you, right? He did that to a lot of low-level guys. But it seemed like as he started to move up the levels, guys are able to work him out a bit more. And I think that really is the case with Josh Kelly. That being said, his loss did come at 147 at welterweight. He's now fighting at super welterweight. It's known that apparently he had quite a big cut to get down to welterweight. So now he's at 154. He's healthier. But I believe Josh Kelly's style, boxing has sort of passed it by in a lot of ways, where at the time when he was doing this, 2016, 17, 18, it was a style that was very in, and not a lot of guys at a low level could handle this style, right? But I believe as you start to get higher up in the sport and you get to the world level, I believe these guys can work out Josh Kelly and can put a stop to him. They can devise game plans that are effective enough to null Josh Kelly's strengths, put him against the ropes, work the body, make him tired, make him desperate, make him throw wild shots, corner it, apply pressure. There is ways to do it, right? And then you're against a guy like Jaron Ennis, who's got all the sauce, if not more sauce than Josh Kelly, and even more power. You know what I'm saying? That is a real tricky night for Josh Kelly because Jaron Ennis can bang. And in my opinion, there's no doubt in my mind that Jaron Ennis' power will carry at 154. I think he's that big of a puncher. I think he's the modern day. In my opinion, he's like an uncrowned pound for pound great. This is how highly I think of Jaron Ennis. I think it's only a matter of time before he's up there with these guys because he's got the talent to do it. He just has to literally now prove it to us by beating those names and getting names on his resume. Now he's already got some names on his resume, but he's moving up to 154 now. Another division to conquer. He needs to do that. And you're even hearing Eddie Hearn saying that Jaron Ennis might even have plans to go to 160. Look at 160 and maybe he's not the absolute best there, but he's given a lot of these guys a good run for their money, especially if he's given time to grow into his body at 160 as well. But I'm getting ahead of ourselves. He's not even fighting at 160 yet. He wants to fight at 154. He wants to fight Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly's believed to want that fight also, but it doesn't look like it's going to get done because of Matchroom's shady business tactics. But even if that fight was to be made, in my opinion, I do think that would be not an easy win for Jaron Ennis. It would take him a bit of time to figure out Josh Kelly, but once he figured him out, I think it would be a relatively easy night for Jaron Ennis and he would beat Josh Kelly. But I'd be curious to know what you guys think. I'm a huge Josh Kelly fan, by the way. This is hard for me to say. I don't ever want to see Josh Kelly lose because I'm such a Josh Kelly fan, right? But if that fight ever gets made, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm super curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.